What's up everybody, it is I, Hero Vange, and welcome to my Voyager Cup Meta Simplified Guide. Actually, this is not a Meta Simplified Guide, this is more of a team building tool because the Voyager Cup is insanely wide. It's basically open Great League, and to cover every single match would be insanity. But I do have a very good tool for initial team building. This is gonna set you on the path and it's gonna give you some inspiration for team upgrades. So let me teach you how this is gonna work, because this video right here is actually a tool. It's a tool that will help you build your initial Voyager Cup team, and it will help you fine-tune it later on. Step number one is to go to the pinned comment down below. It's gonna have a lot of timestamps. That is actually gonna be your guide. That is gonna be kind of like your way of clicking through the video to find certain parts, because you will be needing to like flick around to try to figure out your team. So we're gonna start off right here with the limited. These are the Pokemon that you're not allowed to pick as your sixth choice, your wildcard choice. And what that basically means is, for the limited choices per region, you're not allowed to have them together, right? So Azumarill here is not allowed to be in the same team as Skarmory. And that's kind of a funny thing, because Azumarill and Skarmory used to be the core. But yes, you're not allowed to have Azumarill and Skarmory together. You're not allowed to have, let's say, Registeel and Altaria together. This is basically the Silpharina's way of limiting our choices. So to start off your team, you want to start by picking one from each of these regions, just so that you have like a restricted pick. You don't have to stick with it, but right now, just pick one from Kanto, one from Johto, one from Hoenn, one from Sinnoh, and one from the rest. This is actually one of the two limitations that you have for the Voyager Cup, that you're not allowed to have these Pokemon together in the same team. And the reason why is because the Silpharina kind of like perceives these Pokemon as pretty good. And I would say, yeah, these guys are pretty solid. So, you know, have one from each, pick one from the five, and try to have a balanced team with solid coverage for all these Pokemon here, right? So try not to pick the same elements, or like have Pokemon with the same weaknesses on your initial picks, right? But it's gonna be pretty hard. I actually tried it. It's very difficult to have like a super balanced team with just the restricted picks. Your first five, I don't think that's a good idea. I think you have to include some Pokemon that are not restricted, and we will go through that later. But to help you with your choices right now, let me just give you an overview of what I think of these Pokemon. Kanto's restricted list is full of Pokemon that are utility. They are Pokemon that you might pick on your team last, actually, to fill in the holes, or to try to set up like a certain specific type of place, like Dugong and Mew. There are some Pokemon that are like meat and potatoes, like Venusaur there being restricted, along with Ivysaur, of course. It's one of the reasons why it's actually pretty hard to fit in a grass on your team. Dugong and Lapras, they are one of the many water types in Open Great League. And so unless you check the balance for your team, check the coverage, do the math, and see that one of the two fit exactly what you need coverage-wise, I don't think they're gonna be your first pick for your team, unless you have a specific play with Icy Wind Dugong. Hypno is kind of the same. You check the team, you check the balance, check the coverage, and you see that, oh, I'm weak to this certain Pokemon, and Hypno covers these Pokemon. Then you add in Hypno. For Johto here, you have two Pokemon that are main solid pick type Pokemon for Open Great League, right? Azumarill and Skarmory. Umbreon is very similar to the Kanto picks. You're gonna do your balance check, you're gonna finish your team, and then at the very end, you see that you're weak to this Pokemon, like specific Pokemon, and you're gonna see that Umbreon covers all of those. And the thing is, it's restricted. And that really sucks, because that is, you know, a chunk of a Pokemon. Guys, take a look at Johto and Hoenn there, alright? It is stacked. It is 90% of what you see in Go Battle League, and it is going to be so difficult to choose Johto and Hoenn. The thing is, you're most likely not gonna pick a non-restricted pick for your initial choices, right? So Johto, Hoenn, you're probably gonna take one of these, and you're gonna regret not picking the rest. Sinnoh has some of the hardest Pokemon in the meta. They win big, they lose big. Alright, so just pick one right now, just so that you have that restricted pick in that restricted slot. But you're most likely going to change this for something else. There's actually not a lot of great picks in Sinnoh, honestly, but yeah, just pick one right now. And then for the rest, I think that's a solid spread. you're either gonna pick one of those Pokemon or one of the very familiar Alolan Pokemon that we have been using for PvP. After you pick your first 5 Pokemon, one from each region, the next step is actually to check the balance of your team. Try to check your coverage, try to check common weaknesses, and your 6th Pokemon is going to try to cover that, but we're probably most likely going to replace some of these Pokemon. And so we're moving on to the 6th slot plus replacements for your limited Pokemon. Now, one of the restrictions for the Voyager Cup, the second restriction, is that you're not allowed to have more than 2 Pokemon per region, right? You can have 1 limited plus 1 non-limited. You can have 2 non-limited, but you cannot have 3 from the same region. And also, you have to have 1 per region, okay, of the 5 regions given, or like more, okay? So you can't have 2 from Gen 1, 2 from Gen 2, 2 from Gen 3, and that's gonna be your team. That's against the rules. And so to help you with your choices, to help you figure out the very confusing and difficult restrictions that the Silpharina has given us, which actually makes the game kind of spicy, alright? I have organized, including the limited Pokemon of course, the top 25 per region, and I organized them by PvPoke ranking and by typing because I feel like that is the best way to try to figure out, you know, what will replace these Pokemon much better. And also, if you're looking for like a specific type of Pokemon, you can try to figure out, oh, fighting, water, dragon, normal, or you know, whatever. So the closer you are to the top and also to the left, the higher your PvPoke ranking. And I organized them by the typing, right? So you can see that Machamp is the highest ranked out of all of these Pokemon, plus it's the highest ranked fighter. But having a higher PvPoke ranking doesn't mean that it's a better Pokemon, right? I actually don't even know what the rankings are based off, if they're based off like win rate, or I'm not sure. So obviously you're still going to have to check the differences between that Pokemon and the other Pokemon, plus you're gonna have to check if it fits well on your team. But just staring at this is gonna give you ideas, right? Just take a look at it, and you can switch between the regions using the pinned comment down below. So that's gonna make it very easy for you to look at things and assess your team. Now, I did highlight 1 Pokemon per region because I'm trying to limit myself and I'm trying not to influence you that much, but just for your consideration, because I think that these Pokemon are amazing. Okay, so the first one for Kanto is Haunter. Haunter is really dangerous. Haunter has some insane coverage, guys. It's crazy. Plus, the amount of damage that this thing puts out is stupid. It's incredibly dumb. Azumarill in the 1-shield scenario, straight Shadow Ball, you kill it. Registeel, you have to go 2 shields, but you go straight Shadow Claw. You come out with an amazing amount of HP. If Registeel doesn't block it, you're probably most likely going to get that shield in the next match. And then what else? Skarm, straight Shadow Ball, 1 shield. Altaria, you have to bait. Alright, Altaria, okay, cool. You have to bait. With Whiscash, okay, you lose that clear, but still, solid coverage, right? You touch most things with your Shadow Ball, they're dead. And also, think about what really counters Haunter. 1, Umbreon. And Umbreon is in the same generation as Azumarill and Skarmory. I don't think that you're gonna encounter a lot of Umbreon, I feel. What else? Sableye. Sableye is in Generation 3. It is the most stacked generation. It is... I don't think you're gonna see any Sableye. Still trying not to influence you that much, but you know, okay. For Generation 2, it's gonna be very difficult not to pick one of these. But if you chose Johto as your 6th slot, your non-restricted slot, then Meganium is a solid choice and is a great answer to Venusaur, Ivysaur, and Tropius being restricted. Really, if you wanted a grass type for your team, Generation 1, Generation 2, and maybe Generation 3, but that's gonna be Tropius, so it's gonna be, you know, very restricted, right? But yeah, Generation 1, Generation 2 are gonna be your picks. Generation 1 had Venusaur, Victory Bell, and I guess Gloom. Yeah, okay, sure. And then Generation 2 has Meganium, and Meganium is so solid. And to compare and contrast it to the rest of the grass types, it has a chance to kill Registeel. So all of the grass types kind of handle Azumarill, no sweat, cool beans, but Meganium here can kill Registeel. If you land 1 Earthquake, 1 Frenzy Plant, you have it. Whiscash has to go to a psychiatrist because it has nightmares of this pink flower. But to compare and contrast Meganium to my Generation 1 pick Haunter, there are gonna be things that wall it. There are absolutely gonna be things that wall it, and that's anything that flies. Can straight fast attack down Meganium and get a ton of energy, and that will probably make you lose. So there's Generation 3 Hoenn region is my all-time favorite, guys. It's just the best. Good luck picking one of these. All right, if you pick one of them, the rest go away. The rest just you cannot choose. Okay, if you balance your team at the end and like figure out that you needed a mud boy, too bad. My restricted pick, the water ball throwing Rainy Castform. It is a very good core meta breaker. Registeel, straight weather ball water. Azumarill, straight thunder. Skarm, straight water ball. Whiscash, Swampert, straight water ball. Altaria, okay, that's a problem right there. The dragons, they don't fear the weather. And also, I guess the grass types. But again, the grass types are kind of difficult to fit into a team. So I think this is going to be a solid pick. Sinnoh is actually a difficult one. I had a lot of problems trying to figure out what to pick. I ended up going with something that is quite weird actually, but I feel like I should replace it. But my recommended pick is Toxicroak. Toxicroak is not the pick that I chose, okay? Toxicroak is a solid meta core breaker. I guess you could kill Azumarill with the Sludge Bomb, but it's bait dependent plus it's IV dependent, so some Azumarill IV spreads can actually tank a Sludge Bomb from Toxicroak. Thick. Now Registeel is pretty clean, nice, but with anything that flies, Altaria, Skarm, plus Whiscash has the ground type moves and it's part poison, so it's weak to ground. It struggles. So yeah, I'm not sure about what. I honestly don't know what to pick with this region. Do you want to know what I picked for my current team? It was Skuntank, but it's kind of just a filler pick for the coverage. I didn't like it. And finally, the rest. And with the rest, this might seem like a random assortment of weird Pokemon in the hundreds ranking-wise, but this is actually anti-Azumarill and anti-Registeel Central. I actually like these guys more than Generation 4. Generation 4, I could not figure out what to pick. But right here, you've got a lot of good picks. Picks that can kill Registeel, picks that can kill Azumarill, and picks that can kill both, plus some other things like Galvantula. Galvantula is a really good core meta breaker, can kill Azumarill and Registeel and come out with a ton of HP. It also handles Skarmory pretty clear, but for Altaria, Whiscash, that's a no-go, plus it struggles with anything that has a rock type move. So Melmetal, Defense Deoxys, yeah, it just gets squashed because it's a bug. But with all that said, it's a decently hard counter to Registeel and Azumarill. Just go straight discharge, one shield, you come out with a decent amount of HP. You're probably gonna get to another charge attack for the next Pokemon, so I think it's a good pick. Why not a Lowland Raichu? The thing is, guys, I found out that with some IV spreads for Azumarill, you have to land the Grass Knot to win after getting a shield bait, right? So it's not a sure thing. Why? Because Azumarill is thick. But thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something. Remember to leave a like, comment down below which is your favorite generation. Alright, and tell me which is your favorite Pokemon of all time. Once again, please use the pinned comment down below to flick through the graphic and just stare at it, alright? Just stare at it. If you're trying to figure out like what to pick for a certain region, just stare at the thing, you'll figure it out. Trust me, okay? You have this in your instinct. You got this. You're gonna win your regionals. Let's go! Subscribe if you haven't yet, ding that notification bell, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys!